The Secret Service's newest challenge, safeguarding the Obama girls, 10-year-old Malia and 7-year-old Sasha.
There'll be a seen and an unseen presence.
20-year Secret Service veteran Scott Alswang, who is now a senior vice president at a private security firm, safeguarded presidents from Reagan to George W.
Their schedule is going to be pretty much orchestrated by their parents to their young kids. They'll go to school. They'll probably have some after-school dates and activities, and we'll just go with the flow.
The party crashers at the White House, what do you do to them? Can you do anything to them? And who's responsible for the fact that they got in there? With us now, former Secret Service agent and senior vice president of SOS Security, Scott Alswang, is with us once again. It sounds like, I mean, you were in the Secret Service. It sounds like they're kind of falling on the sword over this.
Yeah, the director came out right away and said somebody must have raised their hand and said, hey, I'm at fault, or a couple people or agents or uniformed division officers are at fault, and agreed to take the blame.
I wonder what they're going to get out of this deal. They're asking for, I don't know, somewhere around $500,000, I guess.
They've got a great story to tell. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's going to pay them. And as far as a punishment goes, I think the punishment should be that we don't entertain this, that we don't pay them. And regardless of the way they're punished, I think maybe the best way would be to pick up trash in front of the White House, not in the White House.
Oh, Nelly, that's a good one. Scott Alswang, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
For a time, a threat made against Mayor Bloomberg was feared to be terror-related. But as Jonathan Dees reports, now security officials say the suspect was never capable of following through.
But for a time, those guarding the mayor put on notice, and this former Secret Service agent says, given the alleged threat, a large-scale investigation was likely initiated.
Especially if there's something credible about it, you go to that person's family, to their jobs, to their references, to their background.
Law enforcement officials say while this case not as serious as they first feared, vigilance is important.
By the news reporting on these things, it makes people more aware, more vigilant.
Scott Alswang, former Secret Service agent. Congress people have no security. You think that will of necessity change now?
I think the Capitol Police will have to step it up, at least for the short term, and provide protection for all the congressmen and senators at this point.
This seems like the arbitrary act of a creepy nut job, perhaps instigated by an older person.
The lone gunman whose intent on, and from what I've heard, he basically said his goodbyes. So when you have an assassin willing to die for his cause, however emotionally disturbed he might be, then he's just going to unload on whoever he can.
How did this happen?
Well, it happened, I think they were at the wrong place at the right time. I don't think that they had an invite. Apparently their hairdresser asked to see the invite when she was being made up at the same place that members of Obama's family had been made up for the inauguration, and she couldn't produce that invite then. I think they did a great job of socially engineering their way in.
What happened at Congresswoman Giffords is almost impossible to prevent without 24-hour protection. To do that for Congress would be a monumental undertaking at a monumental price for taxpayers.
The real protection has to involve the family. It has to involve the residences. It has to involve advances at the places that they go visit.
And many members of Congress likely wouldn't want it.
The degrees of protection are outer, middle, and inner perimeter. And so there's a number of different types of protection that are enacted. And the core around the president for 360 degrees is well covered. And there's evacuation plans in place. There's emergency procedures in place. There are different layers of law enforcement in place to make sure that the president and his family are safe. So it's just another day in the life of an agent. Everyone said that they asked them to see the invitation. They didn't produce the invitation. This morning on the news, they didn't produce the emails. They said the Secret Service is investigating, which they are. It really doesn't matter whether or not they were on the list. They got in. The Secret Service has admitted fault. The main emphasis is on protecting the president. And even though they got close, they got pictures, their contingency plans. I spent many nights in this very hotel with all of those presidents, and a lot of people that were guests of the hotel came up and they shook hands, and we were close enough to be able to stop whatever might have happened.